So everyone po at the back, you can occupy po yung from the last few days. Kamusta ba sila? Sagot.
Okay lang ba kayo? Nice,
Thank
very
you.
good.
And syempre, welcome to our event for today. Hello and good afternoon, Auristas. It is really a great pleasure to be here today in front of all of you. And syempre, thank you for joining us to hashtag Be the Light with today's seminar with the theme of
Creating hope through action.
My name is Kyla Irel Micaela M. Valencia.
And I am Basti Matawaran.
And we are your moderators for today's event. To formally start our event, may I ask you to please all rise for our prayer and also to be followed by our national anthem.
Please all rise.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all you creatures here below. Even in the valley, even in the storm, praise His name forevermore. Praise God. Praise God. Awake my soul and sing. Praise God. Praise God. Hallelujah to the King. Praise God, O moon and shining stars. Praise Him, all creation near and far. When the day is dawning through the darkest night, lift His name forever high. Praise God. Praise God. Awake my soul and sing. Praise God. Praise God. Hallelujah to the King. Hallelujah to the King.
mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
With our seminar, the Suicide Awareness. Hello? Okay, with this year's themes again, creating hope through
Through
action.
action.
I would like to warmly welcome and extend my gratitude to the presence of our professor and the owner of Mondrian College, Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza, here in front, and Ms. Eliza Machas for our speaker for today. Thank you for accepting our invite, Ms. Eliza. Ms. Elaine, our college professor also, and also Ma'am Cami here with us today, being here with us today. Okay.
So, grabe naman partner. Andito na ulit tayo sa face-to-face seminars natin. Dati ginagawa lang natin ito sa webinars.
Yes.
It's glad to see you all. Hello po. Good afternoon po.
Hello everyone. Isang sagot naman dyan.
Hello. Tsaka bautiin din natin yung mga magulang natin, baka nanonood sila sa YouTube tsaka
Yes.
sa Zoom.
Extend ko rin din po yung acknowledge kasi live po tayo ngayon, no? And also we're on Zoom po. So, hello and good afternoon po sa ating mga online participants with our seminar today. Alam mo, partner, since the pandemic happened, we conducted all our webinars through like Zoom, Google Meets, and still meron tayong more participants. Last year, it was like 200 participants all over the Philippines po. Also, syempre merong mga taga-ibang bansa. One of them is Dr. Edgar Hiniza's wife. And thank you for still coming today even though na hindi natin sure what's the weather today.
Yeah, and mag-attendance check muna tayo. Taas,
Yes.
pag tinawag yung year level nyo, please raise your hand. Sino yung mga first year dito? Mga first year.
Yan,
Ayan, ang dami. Welcome.
dami.
Welcome din natin sila kasi first time din nila dito sa Mondrian Aura. And welcome to Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya Department. Hello. Sino yung mga dito? Second year. Mga second year.
Pataas naman ang kamay dyan, everyone.
Ay, konti lang. Friend. Masabihan pa sila? Cheris.
San sila, guys?
San-
Attendance check to.
Attendance check.
Okay, how about the third years? Pataas naman ang kamay dyan. Yes. Asan yung mga classmate nyo?
Asaan?
Walang plus 5. Walang plus 5.
Naku, yari kay Ma'am Kami, Cheris.
And also, syempre, to our batchmates, where's the fourth year? Yes! Thank you guys for coming despite our busy week with our thesis and also our major with the clinical side. Maraming salamat po. Syempre naman, we would like to thank then our technical team for being here with us today since nung morning sa pag-aayos from last night to everything here in front of you. So as we start off, may I call on in front and warmly welcome to you the founder, the president, and the dean of Mondrian Aura College. May we call on Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza to speak in front.
During the time when the attention to mental health was not this great, I used to be invited with some talks. Naalala ko yung isang talk na invite ako sa Columban. Tungkol nagsisimula pa lamang na tutukan ng mental health noon. More than 10 years ago yun. So as usual, your president would tell jokes. Ganun ako to get the attention of many of the teenagers who were there. Before this attention on mental health, ang mga jokes ko ganito. Alam nyo, kasi mga jokes po nung araw pwede pa Ngayon hindi na pwede. Meron ako isang relative, pero totoo yung kwento ko. May isang relative nagkukwento siya sa akin kasi pinilit siyang kunin ang isang kurso na hindi niya gusto at pinag-enroll siya sa Maynila. Hanggang nag-drop siya doon. Tapos pinilit siya mag-enroll sa Pampanga, sa isang universidad doon. Pinilit pa rin yung kursong ayaw niya. Kaya sabi niya, alam mo tito, sabi niya, nag-isip ako magpakamatay. Sabi ko doon sa boardmate ko, bumili ka ng Baygon. Baka yung nagtaka nga yung boardmate ko bakit ako nagpapabili ng Baygon? Sabi ko, basta bumili ka ng Baygon. At that time, desidido ako magpakamatay. Nung dumating yung boardmate ko, may dala siyang Baygon. Kaya lang spray. Ang hirap pala magpakamatay sa spray na Baygon. Totoo po yun. Buti na lang sabi ko, spray ng Baygon, hindi ka nakatuloy. Then of course, meron din po yung story, totoong istorya ng isang dating sikat na artista, si Janice Jurado, na isang nagbida, nanggaling sa medyo hindi magandang pinanggalingan, pero she was able to be popular. She became popular during those times. But again, relationships after relationships failed. And then she tried to kill herself. Nung una raw, nag-try siya, punta sa kalsada at nagabang ng isang rumaragas ang truck. Nung malapit na yung truck, di siya umalis doon sa gitna. Tiyempo naman na na-flat yung gulong ng truck, hindi raw siya tinamaan. Pero sabi niya, desidido ako magpakamatay. Kaya pumunta ako sa isang mataas na building at talagang tumalon ako. Subalit pagtalong ko, bumagsak ako sa canopy, buhay pa rin ako. Nagpilit akong patayin ang sarili ko sa pamamagitan ng pagsaksak sa aking sarili. Kung makikita niyo siya ngayon, pag minsan nagsashare siya, makikita niyo mayroong peklat dito. Ginawa niyo, minum siya ng maraming drugs, no? Yung kanyang drugs. Tapos nang liyong-liyo na siya, tinusok niya ng barbecue stick. Ito, para maubusin siya ng dugo. Pero may nakakita sa kanyang kapitbahay at siya ay nailigtas. Sabi niya, malas ko naman, hindi ako mamatay-matay. So she decided, probably, God is not allowing me to die in this way. And today he's one of the advocates, no, against suicide. She would be speaking in many gatherings to speak of the love of God for her. Then one day, sabi nga, na doon ako sa Columban, wala naman sa loob ko, gusto ko lang masaya. So yung una kong, kasi nakalinya dito sa stage, yung mga bata na may mental health problem, no? Tumabay ako sa una, maganda reception. Hanggang sa, Iha, ikaw, nag-isip ka ba magpakamatay? Yes, sir. Sabi niya, ang daming tao nun. Siguro mga 500 mahigit ng tao nun. Ano ang ginawa mo? I swallowed 13 pills, sleeping pills, sabi niya. Wala naman sa loob ko. Sabi ko, bakit 13 lang? Sabi ko. Hindi nagtawanan ng tao. Kaya lang, nung bago ko matulog, nabasa ko sa cellphone ko, ang sama ng loob niya. Kaya hindi kami makapagsabi ng mahusay sa nararamdaman namin sa mga nakakatanda sa amin. Dahil kadalasan hindi kami pinaniniwalaan at hindi kami pinapakinggan at ginagawang katatawanan ang nararamdaman namin. Immediately, wala pang 1 minuto, nag-apologize ako sa kanya. Then I started studying mental health and all the laws that are connected with it. Kasi dati-dati, sir, lukot-lukot na ng buhay ko. Huwag ka mag-alala, Iya. Alam mo naman, ang buhay, parang life yan, di ba? Pag meron, there is. Pag wala, nothing. Sa makatwid, hindi baluktot, di mga ganun. Payo na gusto ko lang umiti sila. And then one day, I founded a kabalikat, the first kabalikat radiocom in this city. I was 01. Ako yung 2201. Nung nasa bahay na ako, I still remember, may sabi ng aming kasambahay, may naghahanap po sa inyo, sir. Kararating ko lang pagod na pagod ako. Pakisabi na lang, tulog ako. No? Kinabukasan ko, nabalitaan ko na lang na yung youngest member ko, nagbigti. Siya yung pumunta sa bahay ko. And there were many times when he told me what he felt. He wanted to die. Kasi naghiwalay yung magulang niya, tapos lola na lang niya ang kasama niya, pumunta pa ng States, nag-iisa sa bahay. Underage siya, minor de edad. And there were several times when he was telling me his problems. Sabi ko, probably he would tell me again his problems. Probably he needed somebody to listen. Bakit ko sinabing gano'n? I felt guilty about it. No? So from then on, hindi ko na po ginawang biro ang talking about suicide. You see, I'm a philosophy graduate. I'm into psychology in some ways. But you see, in philosophy, we have what we call a school of pessimism. Arthur Schopenhauer would tell us, it's all right to die by suicide. Anyway, this world is full of evil. Masyado masama ang mundong ito. Pag nilisan natin ito, even through suicide, we'll be free. Then there was Plato. Of course, narinig niyo si Plato. He would justify suicide because he sees it as one way of getting out of the body. Aalisin at iiwanan mo ang katawang iyon. Sabi naman isang psychoanalyst na ganun lang si Plato dahil sa hindi siya gwapo, kaya gusto niya mamatay. Sabi. Ganun ang sulat nila. So anyway, I think a great percentage of people inside this rooms, no? A great percentage have thought at least once in their lives, parang ayoko nang mabuhay. Di ba? Wala naman dito ang hindi nakaranas ng kabiguan sa buhay. Wala naman dito. Even our celebrities, alam niyo ba si Robin Williams, nagpakamatay yan, mayaman ng pamilya, sikat na sikat. Favorite ko na lumalabas na Peter Pan because of Peter Pan principles, are principles I love so much, trying to stay forever young in mind and body and soul. No? Vincent van Gogh, my favorite artist, died out of suicide because he cannot understand what's happening to him. He was only able to produce very good works of art. Ernest Hemingway, a writer, even Adolf Hitler, who was one of the big causes of the Holocaust, would kill himself because he failed in his mission. Hannibal, a military officer. George Eastman, one of the founding fathers of the Eastman Collar na pinapanood sa pelikula. Then of course, naalala ko si Ikaw, Si Ako na artista noon. Ang ganda-ganda niya, cute-cute niya, sumikat siya dahil American citizen siya, hindi siya marunong mag-Tagalog. Si Ikaw, Si Ako, Si Punta Ako doon, sumikat siya. He died because of suicide. Why? Relationship. Binubugbog daw siya ng kanyang asawa. Alexander Santiago, anak ni Miriam Santiago, what was the reason? He committed suicide. Why? Because he was not accepted in the University of the Philippines because of some of his subjects, the subjects he failed. The greatest pain was that he was supposed to be the son of one of the greatest lawyers of the Philippines. Because he was not able to be just like his mother, he committed suicide. There is Engineer Rudy Maneja na hindi kilala, pero the kind of suicide that he did was, hinamon lang siya ng isang broadcaster na, sige nga, kung totoo yung sinasabi mo, na ikaw ay napakalapit sa Diyos at kahit na magpakamatay ka, hindi ka talaga mamamatay sapagkat ikaw ay mabubuhay na muli katulad ni Kristo. This engineer took the challenge and burned himself. Of course, he did not live again. And then, of course, Cristel Tejada. Hindi niyo kilala siguro ngayon, si Cristel. Bakit nagpakamatay si Cristel? Dahil sa isang policy ng school na pinapasukan niya, na pag hindi nakabayad ng tuition, no, hindi makaka-exam. That is one of the reasons bakit ang eskwelahan ito ay laging bukas sa inyo. I'd like you to live longer in your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Egay, for sharing us one of your personal stories. And thank you for touching our hearts this afternoon. And also, sir, of course, I would like to extend the gratitude of Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya with Ms. Cami for accepting our
Won't let them break me to dust. I know that there's a place for me of glorious. When the sharpest lights wanna cut me down, I'm gonna stand up, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am brave. proves I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I'm make no apologies. This is me. We're far away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are pushing through the barricades and ready for the sun. So we begin. Won't let the breaking time. I know the place is so good. The shadows will cut me down. Look out, 'cause here I come. Holding on to the beat I know. I'm not scared to be seen. Make no apology. This is me. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. This is pain, this is bruise, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I am. And I wanna share love to the beat I drum. I'm turning, I'm turning. This is me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, kaya mo ba yun?
Moira, ibigay mo na. Char.
Ako talaga may kaya nun. Gusto niyo sample?
Do it.
Siyempre, joke. Joke lang. Baka umalis si Sir Egay. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Miss Clary Ann Cerda, for that amazing performance.
Yes, syempre. You know, the song This Is Me also replicate each and every one of us here. Alam nyo, you matter, guys. Not just in this event, but every day of your life. So may we call on for our rationale. Let's have Miss Nicole Jan Gonzalez in front, the Vice President of Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya, school year 2022-2023.
Hi, everyone. Mental health is essential to be taken care of, but there will be a time in life when everything feels hopeless. The Philippine Statistics Authority has reported that deaths caused by suicide rose by 57% from 2020. Calls to social workers and mental health professionals have also increased. These statistics indicate about mental health crisis in the Philippines. As psychology students, it is our duty to spread awareness and at least shed a light of hope to those people in the crisis of mental health. This event aims to show support and to have them realize that life will not be that dark if you have someone with you. And most of all, to let people realize that they are not alone, whatever the challenges they are currently facing. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nicole, for the rationale.
As we proceed to the main part of this event, may we call in front to also introduce to us today our special guest speaker.
One of our psychology professors, She graduated cum laude, a licensed psychometrician, and at present she's completing her master in clinical psychology at AUF. Also, an entrepreneur herself, the Suit PH. Ladies and gentlemen, to call in front Miss
Miss
Kame
Gangguangco.
Gangguangco.
Good afternoon. So today, this task of introducing the guest speaker is a great privilege. A member of CFC Youth for Christ, a graphic artist in Lungkutan Collective, local underground music scene, and a co-founder of Sining Layag, local art scene. Last 29 graduated Bachelor of Science in Psychology, of course, here in Mondrian Aura College.
living, And the thought of, bakit ako nag-decide na it's 20? I just knew that 20 felt like it was too long. Too long to be feeling the same way that I've been feeling since I was young. And that itself is evidence na in me thinking this will never change. So why do I bother changing my perspective when for what feels like the most of my life, it never felt different. Nothing felt different. I felt hopeless. I felt like I was different. I felt isolated. Dami kong friends, pero deep inside, it was always this feeling of pain that no one could understand. And when you open up to them, it seems like the goal for other people is simply to ease that discomfort when you open up. Not really the goal of making you feel better. And I think a lot of people forget that when we open up. Wait lang, just waiting for my presentation. Wait lang ah.
Hello? Hello, as we wait for Miss Elias's presentation, may I ask you to be reminded po sa ating three house rules, no? Always wear your face mask po. Excuse lang sa amin dalawa nung nagta-talk in front as a host kasi medyo baka hindi nadiintindihan from the back yung mga sinasabi namin. But later, mag-wear din kami ng mask. And then also, be quiet and listen to our speaker, syempre. She did her very best to be here today with us to share her stories and also some knowledges for us to learn. And syempre, keep your belongings and also please be quiet po. No? Maraming salamat. If you wanted to go to the CR, magpaalam po tayo sa mga CASI officers. They're at the back po and also here in front. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay na yung slide ko. Anyway, as I was saying, 20 was my limit, but I'm here right now. I am 24. And despite several attempts to end my life, I'm still here. And I don't actually know why. I don't think it's something I can answer kung why I'm still around. But one thing I know is that I'm around and that's different. That there's a difference in the faces that I see through the hopelessness that I feel. And that, in a way, makes me feel na, you know what? Something's changing. There's a possibility for change. And I'll remain curious to see that, whatever this takes me. For me, it was mostly feeling hopeless. And for me, it was mostly feeling hopeless. So I'm gonna speak about something I feel vulnerable about, but at the same time, creating hope in a sense that it comes from feelings of hopelessness. Because suicidal tendencies not only happening sa mga taong may mental disorders, diba? This could come from people who are experiencing profound grief or trauma, abuse, chronic illnesses, gender identity, the likes. And for some, it's even cultural. Iba yung view nila. But yung focus ko dito is something that I feel like I have some sort of understanding, so I can speak about it more. And it's creating hope. So, hope, let's define it as something positive, a positive mental state where we're able to desire something to happen, and we have this belief that it might happen, and we're not closing doors for that. So the three things that I noticed was na big contributor for someone having suicidal tendencies does not mean that ito lang. It doesn't mean na kailangan lahat meron to. But this is something that I would consider the big factors. The number one is feeling alone. Sense of feeling that no one understands you, that you're isolated, and no matter how much you try, no one's ever gonna have the grasp or even the slightest bit of understanding ng weight na kinikarry mo, the pain of it. So there's a sense of being alone because you don't feel like anyone would ever have an understanding of what it feels to be you. And then another one would be feeling like a burden. Nakamask ako, okay lang ba? Feeling like a burden. Kasi for a lot of us, siguro ito yung mas, every one of us would have some familiarization of how this feels. So sometimes, may mga nagre-reach out na may suicidal tendencies, but instead of being listened to or feeling like they were empathized with, they end up feeling guilty or ashamed for even opening up. Kasi nga naman, if you're someone who's going through something and you feel like your environment is okay, happy sila lahat, you're gonna feel like something is wrong with you, di ba? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I be happy just the way I should be? So, bakit ko pa i-drag down yung ibang tao sa nararamdaman ko kung okay naman sila? So, you feel like you're a burden for even feeling that way. Not necessarily for sharing. You just feel like a burden. And then next one, we have hopelessness, of course. Hopelessness in a sense na wala ka ng ibang makita. Like, things will never get better. Basically, no chance for anything. The perspective is just end game na. We would call this a cognitive rigidity, or being in a tunnel vision where iisa lang yung nakikita natin and there's only one way to end it. And sadly, for a lot, billions of people, it becomes suicide. Next. So these three things, diba? Feeling isolated, feeling like you're a burden to others, the lack of support, the lack of social support, very special, very important, and then feeling like things will never change. These three things are the biggest things na pag present sa isang tao, they're highly likely to have a desire to kill themselves or to end their life kasi it's the perfect concoction for not seeing anything else. So this is why, with what I'm talking about right now, I decided na what I focus on is specifically validation, empathy, and understanding through actions, through the way we speak to people, through the way we listen. This is super simple, super basic, but a lot of times overlooked. Let's see. So for validation, a lot of times we fail to talk about suicide kasi merong thinking na baka pag binanggit natin to, mas masuggest pa yung thought sa tao. Na if we ask or if we talk about, medyo sensitive topic siya, we wouldn't want to suggest it to someone already suffering kasi baka gawin nila. But chances are, if you ask someone about it, if you're concerned and you ask someone if they're ever thought of harming themselves and they say yes, hindi mo sinuggest yun. It's always been there. Hindi siya dumating just because you asked about it. It's always been there. So instead of them feeling like you suggested it, it's a good thing because you make them feel heard, you make them feel like they're seen. Kung ano man yung nararamdaman nila, it's a way of us making them feel seen, validated. Next, we have a solution is not the goal. Sounds weird, right? Pero you don't engage with someone and then think that you're gonna find a solution to their hopelessness. You're not gonna go and talk to someone with the goal of looking for a solution. Because why? Well, a solution is never guaranteed ever. Hindi ikaw makakasagot niyan. And a lot of times, they've also been looking for answers regarding what's gonna help them feel a certain way. Ayan. So it comes eventually with how we talk to people, how we make them feel valued. But our focus shouldn't be about the solution, but focusing on what makes them feel worthy. And another one is to not make happiness the end goal. End goal. Kasi tulad ng anger, ng sadness, happiness is just another emotion that we feel. It comes and it goes. Just like every feeling that we feel, it's possible to just come and go. And for someone, or for, let's say, people na may depression, may anxiety, or may chronic illness, this creates an unrealistic expectation na nag-end up lang na ma-disappoint sila pag hindi nila nakuha to. So, happiness is not your goal. You don't need to be happy all the time. You can feel it, definitely, but just like sadness, anger, you should also feel these things and validate how you feel. That way you understand yourself better and you also are aware of what's making you feel a certain way. Hindi natin i-dismiss yung sarili natin. Hindi rin natin dapat i-dismiss yung mga ibang tao sa mga nararamdaman nila, whatever it is. So, may tendency tayo na pag may nag-open up sa atin about suicidal tendencies or suicidal thoughts, we want to ease it immediately. This yung sinasabi ko kanina. And a lot of times, this just brings them to feel like they're a burden or shame, guilt. Like, for example, they open up, and our immediate thought is to find a way for them not to think that way, instead of finding a way for them to feel like they're not alone, they're not a burden, and that there's another way of seeing things. It's always more important to simply listen, to be a safe space to these people, to ourselves even. Maraming beses also that I feel, lalo na psych ako, I should be understanding myself more. Pero ako pa tong nag-self-criticize, ako pa tong ginagaslight ko yung sarili ko or ini-invalidate ko yung sarili ko when I should have learned a little bit. Pero, you know, it's a challenge. It's constantly a challenge. Again, this is about them and this is not about you. How suicidal people open up their feelings to people, hindi nila ina-expect na you'd talk about your feelings, di ba? If nag-open up tayo, we want to be able to feel safe in telling them how we feel. Hindi yung ikaw pa yung sasabihan nila, ano nararamdaman nila sa iniisip mo. So this is about them, not about you, not about others. Bringing them to think about how you'd feel if they're gone, how their loved ones would feel if they're gone. Why do they even think that way? Ang dami nilang blessings. Bakit hindi nilang nila yung tignan? There's so many things to be thankful for. This only brings shame. This only brings guilt that they can't find happiness despite those things. Or they can't find hope despite those things. So yeah, yung examples ko kanina, yung thinking about your loved ones, they need you. You have so many things to be thankful for, or the reaction of, but why would you even think that way? Instead na we understand them. This can actually be more damaging than helpful. Kasi sige, you might stop someone from an immediate attempt, but you're not gonna help them feel different. Saying these may prevent an attempt, but it doesn't help them from feeling like a burden, nor feeling hopeless like that they'll ever belong or be understood. Yung cycle magko-continue lang. Hindi mo naman siya ma-stop. So, masastop mo yung outcome na ayaw mo, yung outcome na iniiwasan mo, but it doesn't help the person. They continue to feel the way they feel. Being able to say, I get it, I feel like this goes a very, very long way na sobrang simple lang, pero this validates their entire, the depth of what they're feeling. Yung pain na nararamdaman ng tao, when you're able to say you get it, it means that you understand them from a deeper level of how they must be feeling. That, hindi naman kailangan na naramdaman na natin yon to be able to say that we get it. For example, saying, I understand why you would like to kill yourself. A lot of times, we don't want to say this kasi we fear na understanding means we agree with the act. It's not. Understanding does not mean that we agree with it. It only means that we listen, that we are valuing what this person is saying and what they're feeling is valid. Saying we understand why they would like to harm themselves does not mean we agree with it. It's more of seeing the depth of their pain, allowing them to feel na may nakakakita, na hindi sila mag-isa, and hindi burden yung pag-share nila sa'yo. Again, it's more of grasping the depth of their pain. Allow someone to feel whatever it is they're feeling and going through without the weight of criticism and judgment. Allow them to validate themselves regardless of how they feel. Kahit gaano pa kapangit yan, if, let's say, for some people, feeling insecure about themselves for how they look, ganyan, kahit yung iba naman, ang ganda-ganda, ang gagwapo, di ba? Pero we don't invalidate that. That's how they feel about themselves. Bakit natin sasabihin na, hindi, okay lang yun. So, you talk mo lang yan. Sure, being positive is a good thing, but at the same time, we don't want to dismiss whatever it is that the person is feeling. Instead, we allow ourselves to be a safe space. This goes hand in hand with talking to others, being there for others, and being there for ourselves then. A lot of times we're always there for others. We know how to care for others, but we fail to let ourselves know this. Ito, these words, I see value in you. This goes so long. Katulad nung I get it. When you see value in someone na hopeless, they begin to think that there's another way. When you see value in someone that's hopeless, because you validate what they feel, you validate what they're going through, what they're feeling, gaano man kaliit or kalakian, they're gonna start seeing a sense of worth, maybe. Regardless kung malaki man na bagay, sabihin to, I know it's not a big thing, but it goes a long way in helping someone see the value in themselves when they already see themselves as worthless. So sabi nga, hope, sabi nila, hope brings about action. But the thing is, for someone that's hopeless, someone who's feeling this huge sense of hopelessness, how do they even move? Kung wala na nga silang ibang nakikitang way, hopelessness actually makes you scared to act. So it doesn't bring about action. In another sense, it's actually more of action is what brings about hope. How we act around others, how we validate ourselves, the things we do, despite how we feel. Say you plant a tree, you plant a fruit, so you're gonna have something to look forward to tomorrow. Na baka tumubo, and I'm gonna check into it. It doesn't matter how big or small, but looking for something tangible to hope for, it helps. So ito din, along with validation, empathy, and understanding of others, of ourselves, it's also important na recognize natin when we're in survival mode, when others are in survival mode versus their living mode. I don't think this gets talked about often. Sure, the concept is around, but it doesn't get talked about often, where sobrang common ng mga tao na when they're in their survival mode, they just criticize themselves, not realizing that where they are, they don't deserve to be criticized because sometimes surviving is simply enough. So let's see. Survival mode. This usually happens when we are faced with stressful challenges, life circumstances, events that are overwhelming, or a sudden loss, mental issues, ganyan. And ang tendency when you're in your survival mode, you go back to your pleasures. You go back to habits that you normally are able na i-resist pag nasa living mode ka. The responsibilities ganon, napapalayo ka doon and you end up doing maybe unhealthy habits, maybe pleasures, and simply trying to do things and leaving your responsibilities ganon, trying to find a way to be okay. Compared to your living mode where you're able to do good habits, your routines, your systems, responsibilities, it's very different. So your survival mode and your living mode does not have the same standard. Don't judge yourself for that. Don't judge yourself with the same standards because you do not deserve to judge yourself with the same standards as compared to your living and your survival mode. It's just not kind. It's not kind to yourself. So why would you even think about doing that? It's not kind to do to others, diba? It's not selfish to do what is necessary to get better, ever. Ever. Even if it means cutting off people, even if it means shutting the doors on certain events, certain things, you do what you can to survive. You do what you can to get help, to get better. And sometimes that's enough. It's okay. Surviving is simply enough. Sometimes you don't even need a reason to exist. It's just simply being, feeling yourself, being okay, understanding your emotions, and validating these emotions, observing where these are coming from, recognizing when you're being challenged, recognizing when you're suffering, when you're having pains, This is important, knowing when you're in survival mode and when you're in living mode, kasi a lot of times, these are the times when we would criticize ourselves. These are the times na mas ginagaslight natin yung sarili natin. Bakit? Why am I not able to do better? Why am I not able to fulfill the tasks I normally can? So with that in mind, it's important to also practice self-affirmation, self-compassion, self-forgiveness over self-criticism, self-gaslighting. And when you do that, and when you do that to others, when you challenge how they view themselves and how they feel about themselves, it creates a tiny, tiny hope that they can view themselves differently. Again, feeling hopeless means you're not able to perceive in any different way. End game na sa'yo, meron ka ng conclusion sa lahat. But our goal here is not a solution, not to tell them that they should chase happiness, but the solution might be, I'm not saying it is, but it might be making them feel that someone is there, that they're not a burden. It's okay for them to open up. They deserve to be heard because they're valued that way. They're valid. How they feel is valid. And it's okay to see things differently. It's okay to feel a different way, to change your mindset on something. Change your mindset on something and open up your doors to other chances. Recognizing these things help others and ourselves be validated, opening ourselves up to seeing a different perspective. These things allow people to be kinder to themselves, acknowledge their challenges, yung suffering nila. A lot of times we put it at the back of our head. A lot of times for people who are feeling hopeless, they try to brush it off. And that again is an act of you gaslighting yourself. Hindi natin na-realize to. And again, and another one would be forgiving themselves for their mistakes, what they did during survival mode, and things like not making the right call in the past for, say, a bad relationship or a bad decision with someone, getting into something and regretting it. You're allowed to forgive yourself. You're allowed to change the way you see things. Just because it happened in the past does not mean you can no longer change how you view it. Does not mean you can't change the way you respond to it. So challenge the negative beliefs, challenge the thoughts, because your thoughts aren't facts. That yung mga pumapasok sa isip natin, it's good if we are able to face them, to confront them, observe. It doesn't mean that they have to stay. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let the emotions pass. The feelings can flow. It doesn't have to stay, but always keep in mind to validate it, to acknowledge how you're feeling, and understand it in the process. And hindi siya kailangan na maintindihan mo siya sa simula pa lang eh. Sometimes it takes a lifetime to understand who we are. And that's okay. Hindi siya kailangang nasa dulo na agad tayo of who we are. Challenging the beliefs we have for ourselves, challenging the thoughts, also mean na parang hinaharap natin yung mga things like when we gaslight ourselves. Because it's easier to question invisible pain and wounds because it's harder to identify what's causing them. It's harder to identify when we're doing something wrong to ourselves, when we're doing something damaging to someone. So some examples would be telling ourselves na maybe it's not that bad, or telling someone, I didn't experience real trauma, I should stop being dramatic, it's not a big deal, I should be over this by now, I'm just overthinking. Others have it worse than me, ang privilege ko kaya. Mga ganong bagay, it's all my fault. The blame is mine to take. If I were stronger, I wouldn't feel this way. And then they didn't believe me because I'm not worth believing. So always seeing the fault in yourself, not being able to confront them and challenge them, hinahayaan mo na lang, tinatanggap mo na lang yung thoughts na yun. But thoughts are not facts. Remember that. Thoughts aren't facts. So challenging them, asking, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it is. Maybe it actually is that bad because I feel this way. And how I feel is valid. It's not a big deal. Maybe it is. It probably is for me to react this way. Things like that. So we may not be able to rewrite the past, but we can change how we respond to it, such as things like no longer accepting responsibility for the wrongs done by others. Usually this causes a long-term effect when we blame ourselves for something that we did not do. Sometimes through childhood pa to nanggagaling na hindi natin na-realize, kine-carry on natin yung weight of thinking that this was our problem. Tayo yung problema, when in fact, it's not. A lot of the things we feel, hindi naman tayo yung cause, hindi naman tayo yung problema. A lot of times we can also be victims with how we see things, with how we feel things. And it's important to recognize that. Trusting your judgment and seeing your pain for what it is. Because there's no other way to say this. You just have to be real with how you feel. You have to be honest and validate that and have empathy with yourself more than anyone else. And this goes with also being there for others. As psych students, diba, this is probably where we're headed. We're gonna be listening to a lot of people, or we're gonna look at other people's behavior. So as we tell ourselves this, it's sana madala din natin talaga to with how we talk to others. Or kung ito yung ginagawa natin when we talk to others, when we validate others, sana nababalidate din natin yung sarili natin just as much or enough. Protecting and trusting the self will grow over time. It does not need to be a big leap immediately. It's taking day by day, one step at a time to heal, to feel a sense of hope. And it doesn't even need to be a big thing. It doesn't need to be a big achievement, yung sense ng hope na yan. It just needs to be tangible. It just needs to be something you see, anything, something different from the tunnel vision that someone hopeless is already looking at. So with that, I would like to emphasize how important it is to communicate, talk about it enough with others, talk about it enough to yourself that you understand how you feel, you're aware of how you feel, why you feel these things, observe, confront them, empathize with how you feel and how others feel. A lot of times we try to make it easier kasi no one wants suicidal thoughts. No one wants to hear it. So we make it easier for us to parang mas madali na sabihin natin sa ibang tao, huwag mo gawin yan. Or i-convince na lang sila otherwise because we don't even want the thought of it. Ayaw nating i-entertain, ayaw nating mahaharap tayo sa thought na yun. Pero honestly, based on my experience na din, when I talk to someone about my suicidal thoughts, yung mga pinaka nagiging effective na mga tao is someone who just casually talks about suicidal thoughts with me. Not the ones that make it feel so heavy, not the ones that make me think of other ways to live, but those who just listen casually and talk about it like it's okay, like it's normal. Because it happens. It's valid, and you shouldn't be ashamed of feeling that way. And when reacting to people, on how we react to someone opening up about their suicidal attempts, their suicidal thoughts, their thoughts about harming themselves, their hopelessness, it can be tricky kasi magpapakita ba ako ng emotions ko of how concerned I am? Or am I just gonna be poker-faced ba na para hindi sila ma-pressure in anything? The thing is, you can be authentic. It's important to be authentic, but you don't have to make it about yourself. You can simply say, yes, I'm concerned. This is how I'm feeling. But this is about you, not about me. This is about how you feel, and I would want to know what that is about. And with what I said about hopelessness, being alone, and being a burden, solution not being the goal here, if there's anything that brings someone a a sense of light away from the tunnel that they're seeing, yung end game nila. Maybe it's allowing them to see that maybe, just maybe, there is a future free from the things that they are feeling right now. And it's worth it to hold on to that and to remain curious to see it. Yun. Thank you.
Ayan, thank you for that wonderful and inspirational talk, Miss Eliza Machas. Paging Kim Valencia. Ay, sorry. So, get ready students yung mga napulot nating aral and dun sa talk ni Miss Eliza, and we will be having a Q&A portion for Miss Eliza Machas. Ayan, sisiguraduhin namin nang nakinig kayo ng mabuti sa talk ni Miss Eliza. So,
Hello, hello. Okay, hello. Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you, Miss Eliza, for the wonderful sharing you have given us. And also, siyempre po, sa knowledge that we have learned today. And also, guys, I hope you did take notes kasi sobrang ganda ng present sa atin ni Miss Eliza Machas. And syempre, just kick off of this event, we would like to ask each and every one of you, from first years to fourth year to may I ask you to have some questions regarding the topics that Ms. Eliza Machas have tackled here in front of us, no? You can raise your hands po para you can call Ms. Eliza in front to actually answers your questions po. And also, from online, pwede po kayo mag-send through message or through our Zoom meeting ng inyong mga questions po regarding our the topics that Ms. Eliza Machas have talked to us today.
so huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong about the sa
Presentation ni Ms. Eliza po. And also, syempre, sa team natin ngayon na creating hope through actions. So may I again call in front po Ms. Eliza po to answer all your questions. Please raise your hands na lang po. Opo, okay lang.
anyone? Anyone? Baka may mga questions kayo regarding sa tinakal ni Ma'am Eliza? Walang gustong magtanong regarding... Yes, sir?
First, I'd like to say I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Hindi na mo magpaliwanag. I'm just interested with this question. You see, even if all of us are human persons, no, we know that there is a great influence coming from the culture that we are into. The Filipino is in a collectivistic society, collectivistic tayo eh. And you see, what can you say about the feeling of some members of the family when they are not told about the problems that a member of the family has, no? Yung bang, kasi nagdaramdam tayo kapag alam natin na parang may problema yung anak natin, pero hindi nagsasabi because yung collectivistic tayo, yung lihim mo, lihim ko rin. Does it make a difference, for example, if you were born and raised in the United States and would have similar problems like that?
In a sense of it being talked about more, parang ganun ba, sir? Yes, I think it would have made a huge difference because growing up, I didn't get to talk about how I felt often because it wasn't validated as much. Maraming times nung growing up ko, it was being dismissed. So, halimbawa, I share to someone yung suffering ko or self-harm, and then ang na-receive ko is them laughing about it, making a joke about it, of me being emo, ganyan. o kaya naman during bata ako when I have tantrums or when I have concerns, things that I'm crying about, ganyan. Yung isang memory ko is relatives would take a video of me having a breakdown. So parang growing up, ang nangyari sa akin is I closed my doors and opening up. And I remember meron pa akong friend noon na nag-away pa kami kasi ayoko mag-open up sa kanya. And they had to force it. It was hard for me to open up coming from somewhere where parang shamed yung emotions ko or negative emotions weren't handled very well. And ngayon, I feel like one part of that helped me get better or get by is being able to talk about it casually with people. Dati kasi ito yung something na nag-struggle ako. And the more I noticed that I'm able to talk to people, aside from growing up, mas naging open ako sa other perspectives of ways of living, other things to do. Maybe there's another way, there's another way of thinking. So, ayun, I think it would have helped me in being different in how I feel. And the same goes for everyone, I think. When something is talked about more, talk about it enough, you know. As nakakahiya as it is to just go to someone and ask how they're feeling, kung malungkot ba sila, kasi parang ang bigat naman masyado minsan na yun yung una mong itatanong. The risk of feeling ashamed of asking that is so much better than the risk of them not knowing anyone cares. So that's what I think.
Thank you po, Miss Eliza. Sino pa pwedeng magtanong?
Pero hindi pareho at mas kami daw understand for natin po.
Well, I think the answer is obviously no. A lot of times we invalidate ourselves. Tayo lang din yung nag-invalidate ourselves, comparing it to someone else's experience when our life is subjective to how we experience it. Hindi siya nakabase sa ibang tao. And kahit man gano'ng kaliit or kalaki that, yung threshold kasi natin iba-iba eh. How we experience things, how we feel things, how we respond to things, iba-iba. So, it's very important na ma-recognize natin pag yung sarili nating emotions or sarili nating suffering, dinidismiss natin just because we're comparing it to someone else. Walang pataasan, walang pabigatan pagdating sa problema, pagdating sa nararamdaman natin. Simply, when you feel it, you feel it. It's there, it's valid. Yun lang.
Okay, I'd just like to welcome also one of our college professors from psychology, is Dr. From the City of the Government, Executive Office of the Counselor. Also, ano siya, nag-naging siya na psychology. She's here with us today at the back po, Mr. Luis Jimenez Aglavio. Please follow natin siya. So, welcome po. So, patingin po natin yung Q&A po. From here naman po sa ating group, sino po kung gusto? Ito at the back po, raise your hand.
Hello po, naririnig niyo pa ako, ma'am?
Yes.
What gives you hope in this time, in this difficult time, especially in times of crisis, political and social chaos?
Oh wow, that's...
The reason kung bakit ko po natanong yun kasi I am social and political active, and it really affects me when I'm seeing and hearing news about the incompetence of the government, lack of justice system that affects the poor people. So sometimes I feel hopeless para sa well-being ng future generations, or something like, do I need to mag-raise pa, or something like mag-family pa, kung dito ba ako sa Pilipinas, or mag-migrate na lang, something like ganun. Kasi sa sobrang nangyayari na chaos sa atin sa Pilipinas, sometimes talagang nawawala na ng pag-asa.
That's a big question because a lot of times I ask myself the same thing, and as much as I would want to give you a good answer to that, it's really a complicated matter when you're looking at the things na realistic, yung mga talagang nangyayari sa mundo na hindi natin kontrolado. So, dumating sa point yung sa akin, may times na ayoko na lumabas ng bahay because I was really anxious about how the world was becoming. May tendency din ako ganyan, especially for, I guess, yung mga empath dito. May tendency na ma-feel yung ganon. So, for me, I think what gives me hope now, or what's helping me to find hope, kasi I'm also still struggling with that. It doesn't mean, it's not black and white, you know. It doesn't mean that I'm completely okay right now. And just before I went here, I was thinking na baka ang hypocrite ko kasi nandito ako sa harap and when I don't have a solution for how I feel yet. But when we're facing things like that, again, it's important to validate yourself, and yung sa hope, in a sense of hope, hindi naman siya kailangan na all together. Hindi siya black and white. So you find something you love, you find something you look forward to, be it a game, maybe somewhere in art, somewhere in music, your favorite new artists, and ganyan. And sometimes you have to, there's a time when you need to balance how the world is affecting you. Kung nako-consume ka na masyado nung nangyayari sa mundo, I get it. Minsan it feels selfish to even think about cutting yourself off from the world, lalo na kung halimbawang activist ka, in a sense. Mahirap na parang isipin na nag-e-enjoy ka, tapos, or mag-e-enjoy ka, tapos ganito yung nangyayari sa mundo. But your life is also your life, and it doesn't stop you, you know? It doesn't need to stop you. How the world is going, hindi mo kailangan mag-pause in experiencing your life. There are ways to still contribute to a better society, a better environment. So focusing on what we can control, on the things that we can help with. Maybe I think that for me is what allowed me to feel a sense of hope. Yung finding something I'm good at and working on that little by little, one day at a time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Sana okay yung sagot ko.
So, just another from online na bash, bago tayo mag-proceed here in the classroom. So, from our viewer online, sa ating ang sabi niya dito, ang question na is, suicide or you thinking suicidal thought is related to the feeling of impulsive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hindi rin siya, obviously, hindi lahat ng nagsusuicide is impulsive. Hindi lahat ng suicidal attempts, ng suicidal tendencies is just ngayon lang nangyari. For some people, it's matagal na. And for some people, iba-iba din kasi yung causes niyan. It doesn't necessarily mean na you have suicidal tendencies, you're suffering depression, di ba? Iba-iba yan. Some are profound grief, yung chronic illness nila, identity issues, ganyan, or cultural nga issues, ganyan nga. And sorry. So I think when it comes to okay, so when it comes to impulsivity, mas may chances that this person would attempt kasi nga impulsivity means you don't get to think clearly, lalo na when nandyan na yung emotions mo. Lalo na for people who have borderline personality issues, this is very sensitive. Pwedeng mag-snap na lang yung mga yan and ayun na, they don't get to think clearly. This is why I wanted to focus on the very basic concept of validating yourself, having empathy for yourself, and understanding what goes through your emotions. And this goes the same for being there for others. We validate them, we empathize with them, we understand them. And in a way, hopefully this makes them think that there's another way to deal with how they're feeling, little by little. So kasi for me, not necessarily everybody experiences the same. But for me, the more I allowed myself to see other ways of seeing things, the more I allowed myself na i-consider yung iba't ibang pananaw with solving issues or with responding to how I feel, mas nagkaroon ako ng chance na yung hindi yung end goal ko is suicide, but something na feeling ko kailangan ko sabihin is that suicide will always be at the back of my head. It doesn't heal all the way. Hindi siya basta-basta nawawala. For some, it doesn't get as better, but we learn ways to manage it and to cope better. So if someone's impulsive, it goes a long way by teaching them how to recognize it when they're being impulsive, when their emotions are trying to get the best of them. And they are able to validate that. And it's okay. They don't have to listen to it. It's not a fact. Yeah. Anyway.
Ayan. Dito po sa classroom, sino pa? Ito.
Hello, Ma'am Eliza.
Hello.
I'm gonna ask these questions that I actually made just now, since I've heard about your three things: alone, hopelessness, and I forgot the other one.
Burden.
Sorry. Yeah,
Feeling like
burden. Yeah. Okay, Ma'am. This is my question for the alone. Okay. Does being alone means that we're actually alone and with no one else, or is it just the feeling of no one actually listening to what you're trying to explain about what is actually happening to you?
Being alone?
Yes, ma'am.
I think this is subjective. It depends on how someone feels alone. Like, I think when we define it in a certain way or in one way, we invalidate other people na iba yung pakikitungo, yung pananaw nila sa pagiging lonely nila or sa pagiging alone nila. For a lot of people, yun nga, it's being invalidated. Hindi sila napapakinggan or may mga chances na they tried it tapos hindi naman sila naiintindihan. So they start feeling like they have a problem. Sila yung problema. And in a way, hindi nagagrasp yung sadness nila, yung pain nila, hindi nakikita. So there's isolation there somewhere na parang I'm different from these people. And as much as I feel happy with other people, I enjoy my time with other people, they'll never be able to get it the same way that I do. So it's important to, again, emphasize yung being there for others, empathizing with how they are, regardless of what they feel. Okay lang ba? Sana okay ka sa sagot ko.
Yes, ma'am. It's a wonderful
Thank you.
answer. Thank you po.
A question from our Sabi niya, they asked about the psychological perspective in the rapid model. If it's something you can explain.
Yung alin? Sorry?
The rapid model. Psychological perspective, the rapid model.
The
Rapid.
model? I don't think that's something I'm very familiar with. So I feel like it's safe to say that it's not something I would want to answer. Because I don't want to say something that isn't correct or is more damaging than what I would say.
Thank you for sharing that. Hi and hello again. Here's my first question. Whenever you have this suicidal thought, ano yung mga immediate protocol or tools, if you may, na may ginagawa or iisip mo to battle with that?
As weird as it sounds, so share ko na lang din yung dati kasi this is a little bit trigger warning lang. No, that attempts that I've done is hanging myself. Ito yung nagiging usual ko. So I have a belt that I have in my room always. This is what I use. I would use a blanket, wrap it around. However, I even cord of my tools, my microphone, ganyan. And throughout the years, it changed. It became me taking up so many pills that I shouldn't be taking all at once, or hurting myself, trying to stab myself, or trying to lose as much blood as I can. So, depende sa tao kung ano yung tendency nila, yung impulse nila, or yung way nila of the suicidal ideation, or the tendency na mag-suicide sila or mag-attempt. But with how I deal with it now, a lot of it comes with me trying to visualize myself the next week. Parang, where would I be next week? How would I feel about what I'm gonna do right now next week? Is it gonna be the same? Is it gonna be the same feeling of hopelessness? And minsan it gets easier. It gets easier to handle when pag china-challenge ko siya with evidence na kahapon I was able to do something. Kahapon I was able to be happy. Or last month I was able to do this. So it changes how we feel. It changes. So parang kino-confront ko siya with evidences ng different events sa buhay ko, or different things that I would still like to do, ganyan. Even though a lot of times when you're hopeless kasi hindi mo makita to, but challenging yourself to change that negative belief or how you see it. Feeling ko yun yung nakatulong sa akin. Weirdly enough, also having tattoos. Kasi since I like to self-harm, and I like art, ang ginawa ko, I put art on my body. So when I have tendencies na mag-self-harm na naman ako, minsan naiisip ko na that would be a good spot to put a tattoo on. Hindi ko siya sisirain. Just a weird thing is finding something you like, finding something you find you're able to express in. Just the little things, that goes a long way.
Na-answer po na yung Miss Elias yung question, no? From online mo na po, if it's still okay for your time, no? Ito po from Ate SJ. From Zoom din po siya nanonood as participant po, no? Sabi niyo po, whenever you have those suicidal thoughts, ano yung immediate protocol or tool if you made up po? Okay. Meron pa po, sorry.
Wait lang, so habang binabasa mo yan, emphasize ko lang din yung, so pag na-identify nyo yung usual go-to na harming strategy ng tao, find a way to maybe take it away from them. Talk to them when they're calm na, hey, I think you're going through something. Maybe you're not being able to think clearly. I'm gonna keep this for you. And when you're okay, I'll give it back to you. Things like that. Or keeping yung mga tools na yon, or yung mga bad tools na nagkakos ng attempts na yan is away from us or somewhere a little farther. Kasi the more we move, the more may time for us to think. Unlike pag nasa tabi lang natin, readily available, the impulse can just take over. Ayun.
Okay, ito po from the crowd ko. Ito siya ba? Ayan, meron dito. Meron din yung crowd ko. Next na lang natin, no? Okay. So, siyempre, we're running out of time. People from Miss Eliza for entertaining our session. So, we'll be having those two at the back and here one in front. Pero sige po, yan na lang natin, no? I-maximize natin yun. Sige po, ask your question.
Yung question ko po is what you shouldn't do or say to someone who's struggling with their suicidal thoughts po.
This is specific. So since the goal is to just listen, not make it about yourself, validating them, ayaw nating sabihin sa kanila na it's gonna get better. Wag sana nating sabihin sa kanila na to just look at it a different way or just giving them already the solution. A lot of times yung mga nag-open up. Actually, tinanong ko to sa mga friends ko kung ano yung one thing na they wish people knew more about sa mga suicidal na tao. And they said it's that when they open up, it's not that they expect you to give them an advice or to have something to say. It's just they want you to listen, to understand how they feel. And yung iba naman, sabi nila sa akin, it's that you might get better and the times will get better for you, but at the back of your head, it will always be there. It doesn't go away. It would always be this last resort, kumbaga. So, for times na ganyan, I think it's important na we just be sensitive with what will help them. Kung it's talking about the things they love, talking about what interests them, okay. When we feel like this person wants to simply have someone to listen to them, be the person to listen. Hindi naman necessary na may sabihin tayo lagi, pero iwasan talaga natin yung magbigay ng mga advice na hindi naman nila hinihingi or another way to look at how they're going through. Kasi nga, magbibid lang lalo to ng shame and ng guilt sa kanila sa way of how they deal with it. Or another one, and I don't think a lot of people will agree with me, this is just a personal thing for me. Hindi siya helpful when people tell me to simply find healing through spiritual experiences. Say praying, ganyan. Giving me an advice to simply pray, to talk to someone, ganyan. It's not the solution kasi. In the end, you're still gonna feel the way you're feeling. So, mas magandang hanapin yung root cause, intindihin kung bakit ganun yung nararamdaman ng tao, ano yung mga naka-apekto sa ano yung nararamdaman nila. Because it goes deeper from wanting to end their life. There has to be something that piled up to make them feel a certain way. So there's no one thing to say, there's no one thing not to say, but it's important to just simply validate them and be there like a safe space sa kanila.
Thank you po. So let's wait of from our
Hello po, ma'am. So kanina we tackled about being alone, tapos being a burden to someone, especially sa mga friends, and being hopeless. So I just wanna ask po dun sa pagiging burden. So most of us, and meron naman po tayong mga friends, and let's say for example, I am the suicidal friend, na kung saan I just keep opening up to my friend. Pero like, I don't feel like a burden at all sa kanya. But here's the thing po, parang siya naman po yung nakaka-feel ng burden sa akin. So, yung parang dumadating sa turning point na nadidrain po siya ganun. So, parang bakit may mga taong nadidrain po sa mga suicidal people?
You mean ba coming from you yung suicidal tendencies, ganon?
Yes po. Tapos may friend ako na pinagsasabihan ko, like, I don't feel like a burden sa kanya. Pero siya naman po yung parang twist po natin.
Hindi siya nag-open up sa'yo. Ganon.
Like, nadidrain po siya sa akin, ganon, kumbaga.
Well, hindi kasi natin kontrolado how other people respond eh. And that's why we're also doing this para mag-raise ng awareness with how it's supposed to be handled or how we hopefully is mas ma-handle siya ng mas maayos. In that sense, kung someone is not interested in what you're saying or someone feels like a burden, someone feels that you're becoming a burden to them, opening up constantly, ganyan, it's good to recognize na hindi ikaw yung dahilan. So, it's probably with how they feel. Hindi na sila mentally capable or be available at the moment. Hindi ko to nabanggit kanina, pero it's also important to know pag tayo mismo is mentally available pa tayo para mag-take in ng mga i-open up sa atin ng iba. It's important to protect our mental health. And of course, take yung consent, kumbaga, when we open up to someone, parang say, hey, I have something I'm going through right now. Are you available for something a little heavier? Ganyan lang. Yung being sensitive sa ibang tao, kasi not everyone's gonna be available, especially even ourselves. Sometimes we're not available for ourselves. So it's important to see when someone is available, and it's important to hear ourselves. Pag halimbawa itong tao na to, hindi naman interesado, hindi tayo yung problema. Pero maybe let's find another way, find someone else that we can reach to. Sana wag yun yung maging conclusion mo na walang gusto makinig sa'yo. Because not everyone is the same. And someone out there for sure wants to listen to your story.
Thank you po, ma'am.
So, last po, no? Pero, just like to acknowledge, sa aula kasi, diba, sa ating officers, baka may question kayo, so we can ask Ms. Elias before her talking in front end.
So, hello po. Yung question ko naman po is, what do you do po if you're helping yourself? You're mentally capable of seeing na that you have problems po. And you're finding solutions, pero it's the people closest to you, i.e. your family, na nakaka-trigger sa'yo with their carelessness and yung steadfast na damaging beliefs nila. And despite na in-inform mo na sila na damaging yung beliefs na yun para sa iba and para sa'yo, nagko-continue pa rin sila. How do you deal with it po?
I've received a lot of that from friends. Marami kasing nag-open up sa akin na friends, and yan din usually yung struggle nila. Being in a very collective country, culture, parang magkakasama-sama kasi yung family. So yung sense of independence din minsan nawawala. And pag ganyan lang, again, it might not sound like what you want to hear, pero it's definitely okay to do what you have to do to protect your mental health. Even if it means blocking these loved ones or cutting them off, ganyan. Or simply not letting what they say be consumed. Sometimes you just have to pasok sa tenga, labas sa kabila. Kasi at the end of the day, you have to realize kung yung mga taong ito is willing for change. Open ba sila for changing how they think about these things? Open ba sila for understanding? And a lot of times, hindi natin kontrolado how people respond nga. So, pag mga ganyan, it's better to not waste your energy. At least for me, I try not to waste it. I try to educate them if I can. Kung may mga times na mga little things na kaya ko. But it's important to remind yourself na there are other people out there that care about you, that there are other people out there that would love to validate how you feel and would not make you feel the same way. So it's definitely an issue with how they view things. And it's not an issue with how you're feeling or how you're facing. And yung problema nga lang yan, this is, mas sensitive siya, yung feeling of being a burden, being alone. Kasi nga, nasa mismong circle mo, something na you wish you would find strength in, pero pag ganito kasi yung nakaharap mo, it's important nga na, kaya nga sinasabi natin yung self-care. It's important when you believe in yourself, when you believe in what you're capable of, what you're feeling, when you validate it. Kasi it doesn't matter if someone else says it's not true, because you know it's true. So, helping the self goes a long way, and along with helping ourselves, we help others to see it the same way. Ganun lang. That's how I see it. I don't think there's a black and white thing to it. Be open to how it can be faced. There's gonna be plenty other ways to bring understanding. Pero may mga iba kasing tao na sarado na talaga. And sa mga ganong instances, sana wag natin sisihin na lang yung sarili natin. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry. Siyempre, hindi tayo makakabog. From our college professor of psychology, let's go on Miss Nakikising at Nakpo.
Hi, Mati.
Hello.
All right, I have a very simple and very psychologist question for you. Kasi I think it's very brave of you to stand there in front of this crowd. So, pasensya na po. Okay, just a simple question. Mati, how are you feeling right now?
Oh. Si Ma'am Lising may
This is called validating.
See, this is the thing. I'm usually uncomfortable with opening up or being vulnerable to people. Kasi nga, I'm usually the one who's listening or learning how to listen to others. And si Ma'am Lising, meron kasi siyang way of making me very emotional and feel validated. Right now, I don't know how I feel, really. In the past few nights, before before this day, nagigising ako ng madaling araw or ng sobrang aga kasi sobrang kabado ko. Meron ako, parang nagigising ako sa anxiety, nag-hyperventilate ako, ganyan. Kasi it's always the question na what makes me worthy to be sharing about hope when I'm not exactly someone who has a solution to being hopeless already. But I guess being here, yung na-realize ko, which actually helped me kasi nga parang kinonfront ko yung thought na yun, is that simply existing is enough for me to be in front of you guys to share my story. And if somewhere, somehow, someone feels a little bit understood or helped in a way, then why not? Ayun, so I think I feel okay. I'm trying to validate how I feel. I'm trying to tell myself that I'm worth being in front of you guys. Ayun.
Thank you, Mati.
Thank you, Ma'am. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you po. Thank you to everyone po, no? Sobrang acknowledge po lahat ng questions nyo. And I hope to everyone here and to all the viewers natin and participants through online, I hope nakinig kayo, nag-take down notes kayo, and also nasagot sana lahat ng questions nyo personally and in life. No? Maraming salamat po. And also to Miss Eliza for answering all the questions. Sobrang heartfelt po. Opo, yun. So,
For awarding of certificates, we may call on the President of Mondrian Aura College, Dr. Edgar Hiniza.
and also Miss Elaine Heniza in front po. Okay, sorry po. Just an announcement po from Dr. Edgar G. Heniza. Yung mga first year po that have classes, canceled na po siya. Yung understanding the self. Ano? Okay. Take note po ha, baka kasi may magtanong ulit. Okay.
Parang gusto nila pumasok eh.
I would like to call in Miss Eliza po again. Okay. Okay. Okay, ako na pala. Okay. Today, September 28, 2022, we would like to give the Certificate of Recognition to Ms. Eliza Matias, RPM, in grateful recognition to her profound knowledge and invaluable expertise as resource speaker to the seminar, with it entitled of Creating Hope Through Action.
Given this day, 28th day of September 2022 of Mondrian Aura College, Subic Bay Road Zone along the Post City.
Given by Ms. Elaine and Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza. Okay, tapos. Okay. Okay, mask off daw po.
Kaya na mag-ilas ng paper, tapos doon ako sa right.
Oh,
Thank you very much po.
Again, the certificate of appreciation is given to Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza, the founder, executive dean of the College of Mondrian Aura, in sincere appreciation for his gracious acceptance to our invitation as one of the judge and also the speaker of this event, Suicide Prevention Month, with the theme of Creating Hope Through Action, given this 28th of September 2022 at Mondrian Aura College, Subic Bay, Freeport Zone, Olongapo City po.
And presented, given this day to Ma'am Elaine Herme Hiniza.
Okay. Okay. Okay, photo ops lang din po.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
po, Miss Eliza, Miss Elaine, and Dr. Edgar po for coming here today with us. Next po.
Earlier today, we held contests in line with our event today, such as poster and slogan making participated by our fellow psychology majors.
Okay, so a little background po to our contest that was held today. We produced a contest po about slogan and poster making through personal, like face-to-face, and also through digital art. With the team po sa ating Suicide Prevention Month na Creating Hope Through Action. And syempre, to also extend our gratitude, meron tayong winners for the contest of slogan and poster making po that happened today. Okay po, keep quiet po tayo na hindi pa po tapos tong ating seminar. No? Meron pa po tayong mga happenings later po. So I would like to call in front po again, Miss Elaine po, to give the certificate of recognition and to congratulate po ang ating, sino? Okay, ng ating, ano ba to? Slogan. Okay, yung first po natin na i-award would be the slogan po na contest with the team of Creating Hope Through Action. Yun po yung team natin this year sa ating Suicide Prevention Month Seminar. Okay, given the criteria po, 40% relevance of the team, 30% artistic execution, 15% originality, and lastly, 15% overall impact to the judges po. So, let's call off. Okay, for the slogan. Third place po natin. Let's all give a round of applause to Paul Rojas. May you come in front na lang po.
Ito po yung slogan na ginawa niyo.
Okay. Ito po yung slogan na ginawa niya. Ito po, papakita namin sa inyo. This was done earlier today po. It was said here for our third place. Now, we are not alone in this fight. Advocating hope, promoting second chance through action. Congratulations, Paul Rojas. May you come in front na lang po.
For photo op and awarding po. Thank you. Once again, congratulations, Paul Rojas.
Thank you, Miss Elaine po, for awarding. Okay, next up po. Ito, yung,
For our second place for slogan.
okay, ito po yung work niya earlier. Her slogan, which placed second po sa ating contest. It was said here that an initiative to take action can be the world's aspiration to have a better living condition. Let's call off in front and congratulate her, Miss Eliza Ardon. Yes.
Miss Eliza, please come up to the stage.
Batchmate
Thank
namin
you.
yan. Batchmate namin yan eh.
Yan. Congratulations. For our first placer, may we call on Dr. Edgar Hiniza for award
Awarding the certificate of the
first place.
first place of the slogan making contest po.
So yung slogan niya is, may you be the semicolon to a person who is reaching their own conclusion. None other than
Christy Phil Fahilan. Congratulations! Okay, anong year po ni Miss Fahilan, Miss? Second year po. Okay, congratulations.
Ayan. Congratulations. Thank you po.
Okay. May I call on pa po yung dalawa na nanalo po sa ating slogan contest, which is Eliza and Paul in front, para po may Miss, dito po muna. Apa. Miss, Alain, picture po. Apa. Picture po tayong lahat dito in front. No? Maraming salamat po.
Ayan, congratulations sa nanalo sa slogan making contest. Ayan, dumako naman tayo sa poster making contest.
Siyempre, also, i-explain po natin again, no? Yung theme po natin is this year's suicide prevention seminar is creating hope through action. In line po sa ating celebration, ang criteria ay 40% again, the relevance to the team, 30% artistic execution, 15% overall impact to the judges. Okay, let's have my partner to recognize the third placer of the poster making contest.
So, from first year siya, none other than Fatma M. Sarif. Please come up to the stage po. Thank you.
Congratulations, Fatima Sarif. Guys, just a little reminder, no? Hindi pa po tayo pwedeng umalis after the recognition of certificates from our speakers and judges and also sa ating mga poster-making placers po.
So, congratulations. Dumako naman tayo sa second placer. So, siya si Jocelyn Kian Panaligan. From first year to, I think, din. Yan. Grabe naman yung mga first year talented pala.
Talented and gifted.
True.
Sana
Congratulations.
Again, let's call in front po Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza to award the certificate of recognition to our first placer.
Sino kaya? Grabe naman.
Sino kaya? May hula ba kayo? Sino?
Ang ganda nito.
Sino? Okay. Tingnan natin kung tama ang inyong hula.
None
Other than
Rookie Joshua Kayaban.
First year po siya ulit, no? Tama ba?
Asan siya? Ay,
Second year. Okay,
Ayun
saan po siya? Go in front na po.
Ayan, congratulations. Congratulations.
Okay, may we call in front po again yung dalawang winner of our poster making contest through traditional art po.
Thank you.
Congratulations! Namely, Fatima Sarip, Jocelyn Panaligan, and Ruthie Kayaban. Okay, next up po natin,
Digital art.
digital art naman po ng ating poster making contest. Okay,
Thank you,
hindi
sir.
po namin nabanggit kanina, no? The 3 winners po that was recognized, ito lang ay the traditional art po that was made here kanina. And then this certification naman po of recognition would be the poster making through digital art naman po. So, may we call
For
on...
the third placer for our digital poster art is
may we call on our batchmate, Michelle Pugoy.
wala ata siya.
Okay, so sorry, meron tayong happening na. Nasa work po pala si Michelle Pugoy today, no? So, to just be given her na lang kapag na-meet namin siya. Okay, next up po yung ating second place in the digital poster making contest.
Missy Calma. Akit po sa stage pag tinawag. Thank you. Siguro ipopost na lang yung mga gawa nila sa ano, no?
Yes.
Sa social media para makita nila. Ayan. Once again, congratulations for our first placer for our digital art contest is Miss Rachel Ann de la Cruz. Nandito po ba siya? Si Rachel Ann de la Cruz.
May comment front po, okay, wala din daw po siya today, no? So, thank you po again, Ms. Elaine and Dr. Edgar G. Hiniza for giving the certification of recognition to our winners.
So,
Again, congratulations po to everyone. May we give them a round of applause po. Maraming salamat po and thank you for joining our contest. And I hope everyone who have participated here today sa ating contest may join din po sa ating next events, just like this one po. So,
next up,
okay. Wait. Before anything else, I would just like to emphasize one of the thoughts that Ms. Eliza have shared to us today in her presentation, which is it is more important to listen. Bakit? Alam niyo, the way you ask Ms. Eliza questions really gave an impact not just to you, the one who asked the question, but also to everyone here with us today. Kasi alam niyo, listening is not just about learning. It's about nurturing one another po, no? So tandaan po natin that anyone can listen to one another and anyone can be validated po through his or her feelings po. Maraming salamat po.
yes, now, next up, let's have Aldre Lomboy, our Assistant Secretary for our segment today, which is the TED Talk. Aldre?
Okay.
So good afternoon, guys, and I'm Alvin Jasin Lomboy, a third year BS Psychology student, and kinakabahan po ako. And disclaimer lang, I am not fully equipped na hindi pa ako ganon ka literate about mental health, but this is only based on my learning and experience. And disclaimer, piyukin po ako. So pag pumiyok po ako, please, wag po kayong tatap. Okay, let's start. So the title of my TED Talk is Mental Health, We Are Advocate, We Create Hope. So based on my personal experience, last Saturday, nag-uusap kami ni mama ko. And parang yung tipong, pag nalobat na yung cellphone mo, kakausapin mo yung mama mo. So magchichikahan kayo. Then, nung nagchichikahan kami, and nag-vent out na siya or may sinasabi siya sa akin, nak, ganito si ano, nalulungkot na, parang ganon. And pagka ganon ko ng cellphone ko, namumugto na yung mata niya. Na parang meron ng luha, ganon. Tapos bigla na lang siyang nagsabi, ayaw ko kasing ginaganon yung kapatid ko eh. Ganon. So yun yung sinabi niya. And then, so imagine, and ako bilang isang psych major, sabi kong gano'n, I will do my work, okay. Nakinig ako kay mama ko, I just listen to her feelings and validate her emotions. Sabi ko, it's okay to feel frustrated at this moment. It's okay to feel that way, mama. And imagine, nangyari to sa generation niya. Nangyari to doon, or halimbawa, nag-time travel yung mama ko sa generation nila. Sa tingin nyo, ano yung sasabihin sa kanya nung same cohort niya? Diba? Think positive. Dasal lang yan. Nung naranasan ko nga yan, parang, ayun, hindi ko naman umiyak. Pero that is one of the common misconception in the society. That if we are not resilient enough, if we are not an achiever, and that's the common normal among them, we are weak. And luckily, I'm a psych major and I just give a glimpse of what our generation can do. We are aware of mental health. And however, even though we are very aware of mental health, nakakalungkot na from 2015 to 2022, death of suicide raises and increases due to the pandemic. And perhaps there is still a pre-existing stigma revolving in our society, and the leading cause and hindi ko sinasabing dito lang sa Pilipinas because even in the US, their mental health system is still suffering. How much more dito sa ating bansa? And when we say mental health kasi, according to the APA dictionary, this is a state of mind that characterize relative freedom from anxiety, coping in the demands of life, emotional stability, and establishing a good relationship with each other. And by the definition itself, it is very essential to us. Lahat tayo may mental health. And because the lack of awareness of mental health, nagkikreate ng stigma and misconception dito sa ating society. And as a psych major, tinanong nyo na ba yung sarili nyo, ano ang kaya kong gawin? Ano ang magagawa ko? Natanong niyo na ba yun? Kasi ako, nung ginagawa ko to, tinatanong ko yung sarili ko, ano na nga ba yung nagawa ko? Siyempre, may mga nagawa ako. So, for me, nag-look back ako sa mga ginawa ko. And sabi ko, I am an advocate. And I know we are all an advocate here. Pero kasi hindi lang sapat sa atin yung construction ng idea sa utak natin na we wanted to help, pero wala tayong application, di ba? So parang doon pa lang, paano tayo, what are the ways to be an advocate? And alam kong mahirap sa atin to apply something, to apply aid to those who are suffering from mental illnesses. And for me, nag-construct ako. So for me, there are 3 ways of being an advocate. TCI. TCI means talent, compassion, and introspection. So, talent. Ako kasi as theatrical fan and a previous director and a previous actor in my school. Oh, wow. Grabe, no? So, ayan. Ano ba yung kaya kong gawin? So, sabi ko, in the future, ano ang kaya kong magawa? So, I can incorporate my learnings and my technicalities in my course to raise awareness, to eradicate the stigma that revolving in our society. So through my films, sa tingin ko, and ngayon, like yung mga ginagawa ko sa mga subjects, na-apply ko din dun yung talent ko and I'm so very proud of that. And next, P, talent. C, compassion. Alam ko lahat tayo dito, iba-iba yung sitwasyon. Lahat tayo dito sobrang pagod na rin minsan. Pero hindi naman tayo pagod for sure. Pero iisa lang yung common sa atin. Lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan. So, a simple act of kindness towards each other. Yung simple understanding dun sa emotional well-being ng tao. That's just a practice of compassion. Kasi ito yung ipopossess natin throughout our life as a psychometrician or psychologist in a making. Dapat ito ipossess natin. Maging compassionate tayo towards each other. Alam ko minsan napupuno na tayo, nasasaid tayo dahil sa demands ng mundo, dahil sa mga taong hindi nakakaintindi sa atin. Pero always separate emotion and action. Next, introspection. So talent, compassion, introspection. Introspection is a concept proposed by Wilhelm Wundt. So ito, common na to na narinig na natin, and introduction to psychology pa lang, alam na natin to. So introspection is examining the internal state of yourself, your emotions, your memories or thoughts. By extracting the wisdom, the values, the morals, and the virtues that you learn from your memories, from your thoughts. Pwede natin yung ma-share sa ngayon kung ano yung ginagawa ko. Nung ginagawa ko yung outline ko, nag-introspect ako. Ano ba yung mga natutunan ko throughout my life? And dito pa lang nasi-share ko siya sa inyo, and parang ganun din. Like, isi-share nyo siya sa mga kaibigan nyo and even in a stranger. Pag nasi-share nyo siya, parang nandun yung idea na, ay, naiintindihan ako nito. Pero hindi tayo aabot sa punto na naiintindihan kita pero hindi naman ako ganyan, hindi naman ako umiyak. Hindi tayo abot sa puntong ganun because always remember that we have a degree of difference. Yun yung lagi nating tatandaan. And that's just my way, PCI, to be an advocate, to eradicate, to spread awareness about mental health. And hindi ko rin nililimit na doon lang din kayo mag-focus sa ways ko. I know napaka-creative nating tao dito. Lahat tayo dito critical thinkers. By having in your heart na gusto kong makatulong, can create or we can advocate mental health. And before I end this, next month is the start of Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope lahat tayo dito mag-join doon sa Mental Health Awareness Month. Because through that, yun nga, natututo tayo and we can disseminate those information sa iba't ibang tao. And we can create difference from that. And like our team, creating hope through action. We create hope through action, and action create inspiration and transformation. We may start next month. We may start tomorrow. Why not start now? Start to be an advocate. Yun lamang po. Thank you.
Ang galing-galing niyo naman. Thank you, Aldray Lomboy, our Kasi Assistant Secretary. In line, wait lang
Okay.
daw.
So thank you, Aldray, for sharing us your stories and your TED Talk today, no? Keep in mind natin yung sinabi ni Aldray, his 3 acronyms in life. TCI, no? Ano nga yung meaning doon? Sinong pwedeng mag-raise lang hand, nasabihin ko ano yung TCI ni Aldray in life.
Si Victoria daw.
Go!
Ano yung TCI?
Sino? Raise your hand, please. Maging interactive tayo before we end this seminar po. Okay,
Ayon
go.
si JC. JC, ano yung TCI ni Aldre in life?
Everyone, ang TCI ni Aldre in life ay talent, compassion, and introspection.
Yon, thank you
Noted.
very much. And I hope what Aldri shared to us today gives an impact to our actions as an advocate of hope to everyone who are in need of our help. No, maraming salamat Aldri for sharing. So partner, go ahead.
In line of being one of the organization in school to promote Suicide Prevention Month, happening this month of September, may we not forget those who lost the battle. Let's now call on Lance L. Obedoza, our Aura Kasi Secretary, to lead another prayer dedicated to them.
So okay, may I ask you to all rise again, no? And please keep the quietness inside the facility. May I ask you to also bow your heads po, no? Maraming salamat.
Bago ko simulan ng aking pagdadasal, let us all have a brief moment of silence for those who have fallen victims of suicide. Daluhan niyo po ako sa pagdadasal. Dakilang Diyos na pinakamakapangyarihan sa lahat. Nais ka namin pasalamatan at kami ay ligtas at kami ay maraming natutunan sa seminar/webinar na ito. Gusto kong ipagdasal yung taong mga nabubuhay ngayon. These people who are living. Lord, please give us wisdom. Kasi kailangan namin ito sa tuwing merong mga tao na may mental health crisis na kami ay bigyan ng lakas upang makinig, upang buksan ang puso namin at isipan para mabawasan ang pighati na nararamdaman nila. Sunod, gusto kong ipagdasal yung mga tao na kasalukuyan naghihirap, sa kasalukuyan nalulunod, sa alon ng pighati, sa alon ng pagsubok. Gusto ko lang sabihin sa inyong lahat na please hold on. Huwag kayong bibitaw. Kahit anong mangyari, huwag kayong bibitaw. Dahil ang ating dakilang Diyos ay nagsamo ng isang tao, natutulungan kayo at ibibigay ang tulong na deserve ninyo. Sunod, gusto ko magbigay ng dasal sa mga nasawi. Walang sino man sa mundong ito na nabubuhay ang may karapatan upang humusga sa kanila. Itong mga taong to ay minahal. Itong mga taong to ay naging anak, ama, ina, at kahit ano pa man. Ang tanging tao lang na willing humusga sa kanila ay ang patas na Panginoon natin. Fair God, please give them the love, peace, and respect na hindi nila nakuha sa mundong ito, na ipinagdamot ng mundong ito. Lord God, please gabayan niyo po ang kanilang mga kaluluwa. Alam namin na hindi niyo sila pababayaan. Para sa lahat naman nakikinig dito, gusto kong ipagdasal, may God give us strength sa lahat ng pagsubok na harapin natin sa buhay. God, we love you. And ibibigay namin ang buong pagmamahal at iaalay namin ang buhay namin para sa iyo. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. Patuloy kaming mabubuhay sa mundong ito at through your journey, alam namin na kayo ay may plano para sa amin. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. Amen.
Amen. Okay po, no? Maraming salamat po
Thank you,
for
Lan.
allowing us to have this last prayer today to the people who lost their own battle po. No? Before we end po, I would just like to ask, okay po, sit po muna kayo, upo muna po kayo lahat.
Please settle down po. Thank you.
Okay po, no. I would just like to ask po, no, one last question po sa ating lahat na nandito and also sa ating mga online participants, no. May we raise our hands if today meron tayong realization, if we have nurtured the knowledges that Miss Eliza, Dr. Edgar, and the other speakers today, if you have given, acknowledged their knowledge that have shared to us, and also if you are ready to take action and give hope to the ones who needs help. No? Taas po natin yung kamay natin dyan. Maraming salamat po. No? I hope everyone feels a lot better today than yesterday, I guess. And also, sana gumanda na din yung weather so we can continue producing these kinds of event po that Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya can conduct po. No? We would like to ask po, every years, tama ba? Every years to come in front, kaya ba? Or just this here na lang, yung picture?
Yung may binigay sa inyong sticky notes, di ba?
Okay.
So, ididikit nyo yan doon sa may bulletin board bago mag-psych club. Yung nakalagay doon, words of hope na ginawa ng ating officers. Paglabas nyo mamaya dito, yung mga sinulat nyo dyan, pwede nyo silang idikit sa bulletin board bago mag-psych club.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pero before we end po, may we ask your permission po to take picture? Sige, dyan na lang po kayo sa inyong seat, no? Dito na lang po natin kukunin in front po yung photo po, no? Yung mga nasa likod, tayo na lang po kayo ng bahagya para po makita kayo, no? Maraming salamat.
Let's take a picture.
May call on sa photographer po natin today. JC? And Victoria. Okay, go. Dito kayo. Yan. Ma'am, ano ba compress? Ma'am, sa harap. Opo, kayo po ni Ma'am Jack.
Ma'am Eliza.
Miss Eliza pa also. Apa. Here na lang po. Compress na lang po tayo, no? And make sure na medyo kita yung head natin. Lalo na from the back, pwede po kayong tumayo para makita po nila kayo sa picture. May I call on Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya officers po to go in front para kasama tayo sa photo op po, no? Double time po tayo. Baba kayo. Sila lang. Wait lang, guys. Okay.
Mask on muna, mask on. Bago tayo mag-ano.
Okay, go. Okay, ready na ba lahat, no? Okay, dito tayo sa para makita sila. Okay, yung mga nasa likod po tayo kayo, don't be shy, para makita tayo sa ating photo. Ipapost to sa Facebook, no? Kaya inask namin yung permission nyo.
Yan.
Okay, in 1, 2, 3, smile!
1, 2, 3, smile on a smile.
Okay.
Ako naman.
Okay. Without mask naman po, if okay lang, no? Maraming salamat.
Saglit lang naman po to. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, waki naman, guys.
Nagwaki pa siya.
Waki.
Dito ko din. Again. Waki,
1, 2, 3.
Ayan, thank you again. So before our program end,
I was just, okay po, back to our seats na po, no? Before this event ends, I would like Okay, I would just like to acknowledge everyone who have attended this event po. No, ating auristas, the Bachelor of Science in Psychology students from first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Maraming salamat po for... Wait lang po, upo muna pa tayo, hindi pa po tapos. Wait lang, share lang to. Magti-thank you lang ako guys, kasi alam nyo, hindi bihira yung pinagdaanan namin to invite this lots of students, lalo na medyo limited ang ating capacity, no? Dahil, syempre, there's still a pandemic happening around the world. No? Maraming salamat and also to the participants who have joined sa ating Zoom accounts. Also, syempre, to our speaker today, Miss Eliza Machas, thank you po for accepting
Thank
our
you po,
invitation. Alam mo ate, no doubt, sobrang salamat po talaga sa
Thank you, thank
pag-accept.
you.
Kasi since Nicole chatted you po, wala pong hindrance that we felt na through yung acceptance niyo po sa aming invitation po, no? And also, Ma'am Elaine for being here today with us and also judging po yung ating mga participants sa ating contest through slogan and poster making po. No? Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Elaine. And also, syempre, to Dr. Yeder Giniza, through his busy schedule po, maraming
Very
salamat,
supportive.
sir. Yes, sir, very supportive.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir, for
always
allowing
supporting.
us sa
Lagi
ating
sinusupport.
event.
Ano?
Siyempre naman, to our college professors, Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya, Ma'am
Miss
Kame
May
and Ma'am
Ma'am
Lucy.
Jack.
Thank you. And syempre, none other than, may I call in front po, Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya from our president, Miss Angelica Feliciano. To our technical team, Miss Alisa Vihandre and JC Orgaya. And also, Ate Annalyn, thank you very much po for coming here with us today. Alam niyo po, since morning, nandito na siya with us, helping us with to our technical team po. And also, guys, ask ko lang, yung Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya, go in front po tayo for photo ops po, no? Okay, sige, later na daw. Okay. Again, we would like to extend our gratitude. Thank you for joining us today in making action sa ating suicide prevention seminar. My name is Kyla Irel Micaela M. Valencia, your Vice President of Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya, school year 2022-2023, and my partner here is...
Again, my name is Basti Matawaran, the Public Relations Officer of Aura Kalipunang Sikolohiya. Take note that your life, your story, it matters, you matter. Thank you again very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. And also sa mga participants natin online, maraming salamat
Thank
po.
you again,
Guys, don't forget yung mga sticky notes natin. You can write anything from the bottom of your heart po. No? Nandyan po yung bulletin board natin sa labas.
Bago mag-Psych Club, thank you again. See you sa Mental Health Month. Yung Aura officers, please sa stage po.
Opo.
Ay, sige. Ito lang kayo.